Oh man, these campfire stories have been excellent, Stephen. How have they been for you?
Well, do you know what? It's a bit toasty today. It's a bit chilly in my part of the world, but I have to say it's a combination of those I would say organic smells at night that tells us that we are having a great time hanging out together. I'm loving these campfire stories.
They are. They're great. They are great. We've been having a lot of fun putting them together. And so we've got a new plan. We want to start sharing Canyon Weeklies.
So I think where we're chatting, and it seems like people are really enjoying these campfire stories, but we thought it would be much easier to do this kind of off the cuff. I really enjoy hanging out with you, and I think you're a great storyteller. So we were thinking if we knock one of these out in terms of the say the Grand Canyon Weekly, it just means that we get it out to the audience in really a nice timely manner. What do you think?
I think so. Let's give it to them. Let's share. Let's show them
Okay.
what we got.
So with that in mind, I think one of the formats we talked about was, wait for it, it's the Canyon Weekly. What is the Canyon Weekly? Well, it's all of the stuff that's going on in the canyon because, of course, I am not in your part of the world, but I'm really interested, especially if I'm about to be visiting the canyon, things that I need to be mindful of. And of course, nothing quite like that. I wouldn't say straight from the horse's mouth, but maybe straight from the mule's mouth.
Yep, mules are a big way to get to the bottom.
Okay, so with that in mind, what's going on in the canyon this week? And I think something to do with water.
Yeah, we've had a really big issue here lately. We've had a water issue, and unfortunately, Grand Canyon National Park has gone to what was called stage 4 with the water. And let's talk about we've recovered from it. It literally caused them to close down all of the hotels there at the rim. Unbelievable. But unfortunately, the pipeline in the Grand Canyon had broken, I believe, 4 times in the last month, and it just drained all the reserves. And so, unfortunately, on Labor Day weekend, we had to close all of the hotels in Grand Canyon National Park. But we got some good news for you.
And what's the good news, buddy?
Well, the good news is, as of yesterday, all restrictions have been lifted. We've gone from stage 4 up to stage 2. And currently, we've got all of the services restored back at Camper Services. The water is on in the Mather Campground and in the Desert View Campground. Fire restrictions have been lifted. You still need to keep them in the fire rings, though. So we are returning to normal. They're building up the reserves, so Grand Canyon will be back to having water. This was primarily a South Rim issue. The North Rim had enough, but now the North Rim is back into full service as well.
Sounds as if everyone did all of the good stuff to restore it as soon as possible. So with that in mind, let's get into, I'm quite excited about this section, which is, let's talk about Ask Carlin Anything, questions and answers.
I'd love to answer.
Okay, so one of the things that you often tell me is that you have a ever increasing a mailbox of just amazing questions. And where better to start off with, if people are asking you questions, those are the things that they're most interested in. And one of the ones I think that often comes up was this one here, which is, in what state is the Grand Canyon?
And this is a constant question. And so let's just talk about it real quick. Grand Canyon National Park is in the northwestern section of Arizona. The Colorado River flows through it, and it flows through 7 western states. It flows through Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico. It flows through Arizona and California. And it also flows through, oh gosh, forgetting the other one. Did I already name all 7? I think I already
Now
named
you
all.
got 6. I got 6 little
Utah,
pinkies up here.
Utah.
Well
There we go,
done.
Utah. There we go. So it flows through 7 western states. A couple of important things. Many people think that Grand Canyon, they'll get it confused with the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. And when you do searches on Google, it'll confuse you too. So make sure you're getting the Grand Canyon in Arizona. The Colorado River has carved it, flows through 7 western states. The Grand Canyon is entirely in Arizona, and it's up in that northwestern portion. Let's go take a look at it, Stephen.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Do you know, you hit me with a load of states there, and they are just names, okay? They don't really mean anything to me, especially from I'm on this side of the pond. So I think, as you mentioned, a map is really good. So, oh, the map, now that is pretty awesome. So can you share with us a little bit where we are?
Well, we're in the southwestern United States, and Wyoming is up there, Utah's up there, Colorado, New Mexico, I'm right in front of. And then here's Utah, there's California and Nevada, and here's Arizona. And that Colorado River that carves the Grand Canyon comes through all of these states, but the Grand Canyon is right up here. And so I want you to see that the Grand Canyon is in Arizona, but I think we need to take a closer look. We can't quite see it from here.
Okay, so maybe we need a little bit of help from our friends at Google Maps, and let's see whether I can zoom in for you. How's that? Okay.
There we go. Now we're at the Grand Canyon. And so what I want to talk about real quickly, it's 277 miles long, and it literally begins right up here by Lake Powell, right here, comes down through Marble Canyon, and then this is the spine. This is the big, deep, wide portion. Remember, it's 277 miles long, 18 miles wide at its widest point, and then it ends down here at Lake Mead. And so it's a grand place, obviously. That's why we call it the Grand Canyon. But I just want you to see its full breadth and width here in northwestern Arizona. And we're hoping that you'll come visit us so you can see how big it is and be as awestruck by its size as well.
There's canyons and there's Grand Canyons. And I think what you've just demonstrated is actually how vast that is. Because I guess if you don't have a bird's eye view, it's very hard to comprehend the immense scale of what we're talking about as a natural wonder, yeah?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to come see it for yourself. As you approach the rim and as you see its grandeur, it's awe-inspiring. You'll probably be breathless as you're standing at the rim, as most people are on their first visit to the Grand Canyon.
Okay, so let's go on to the next question, because I know your mailbag is definitely full. Okay, so the next one, again, it's quite a question that comes up quite frequently, is plane versus the helicopter. So I think you need to give us that lowdown. Okay, so let's go and compare.
Yep, let's go take a look. So let's talk about the airplane versus the helicopter. And I've got three main points that I want to make for both. I enjoy both. However, there's a couple of things that you might want to know so that you can decide whether the plane is best for you or the helicopter is best for you. Should we go take a look at those 3 points? And Stephen, you can also turn upside down.
What can I say? You know, you look like you had so much fun on top of the plane. But the thing is, if I try and do the same thing on the helicopter, I might get a haircut. So with that in mind, let's go and see what's the difference. Compare and contrast. Let's do it, buddy.
Yep, let's do that. So here in the airplane, it is less expensive than the helicopter. It holds 19 seats. That's the big difference. It holds 19 seats and it has the same awesome views. It takes the same route that the helicopter takes. So now let's go take a look at what the helicopter does.
Okay.
So the helicopter is more expensive than the airplane, and it's almost twice as expensive, hence the $2 signs. But then there's also only 6 seats. So if you have a group that's larger than 6 seats, you can't all fly together in the same aircraft. However, this is the high value. If you have never taken a helicopter tour before, and this is your first time, there is not a better place to experience the helicopter than here at the Grand Canyon. And so that's why people want to spend more, is that they can have that incredibly grand experience in a helicopter here at the Grand Canyon.
So I remember you always mentioned to me that, you know, when you have that conversation, when you're having Thanksgiving and people ask you, so what have you been up to? Okay, that would be a great conversation starter, yeah?
Absolutely. Many people talk to me and they say, you know, the number one thing that we remember was taking the helicopter over the Grand Canyon. And we sit around the Thanksgiving table and at Christmas time, and we remember those great adventures that we shared together.
Fantastic. Okay, let's move on. Right. Now, I'm in the mood for a mule. Okay, I'm in the mood for a mule. But the thing is, there's so many. And I'm not really sure which one to go and to maybe which one to go and select. But there's one big tip that I do remember. Hold on a second. You did say to me, Stephen, whichever one you take, make sure you're not wearing sandals. Because if you do that, you're going to get what's known as chafing, and it's going to be walking a bit like John Wayne. So where do we go from here, buddy?
Well, there's really only two. Many people think that there are many mule ride operators, but there's really only two. One is at the North Rim and one is at the South Rim. So let's go take a look at your options here for mule rides at the Grand Canyon.
Let's go, buddy.
Well, let's talk about the North Rim first. This is Canyon Trail Rides, and they're located at the North Rim. They also happen to do Bryce and Zion National Park, by the way. And let's talk about the three tours that they have available for us here at the North Rim.
Okie doke.
So Canyon Trail Rides has three tours. They have the 1 hour tour that is real quick. It goes along the Ken Patrick Trail. And then they have two half-day tours. One that goes along the Ken Patrick Trail and takes you out on the Uncle Jim Loop. And by the way, you're overlooking the Grand Canyon, specifically the Roaring Springs portion of the Grand Canyon. And then they have another one that's even more exciting, takes you down into the Grand Canyon right here to Supai Trail, one of my favorite places when I hike rim to rim, by the way. And so those are the three options that they have on the North Rim. So if you're coming to the North Rim, remember the North Rim is only open from May 15 through October 15. So they have a much more limited time. And so that's what I want you to know about Canyon Trail Rides. North Rim, available May 15, September 15. And these are the three rides that they offer you.
So I think big takeaway over here is when's North Rim open? Not only that is maybe you don't want to do a half day, you want to kind of a taster. So you've got the 1 hour trip as well. But either way, you get to experience the mule ride. Okay, and you mentioned there's another option. Let's have a take a look at that.
Well, there is another option, and it's here at the South Rim. This is Xanterra, and they offer two trail rides. These are the most popular ones. In fact, as you've seen the movies over time of riding the mules to the bottom, their first and the biggest one is the Phantom Ranch Overnight. Unfortunately, there are very few seats going every day. There's 5 million people coming to the South Rim, and there are very, very few seats. You must book these 13 months in advance. They
Wow.
sell out just like that. But they offer an alternative along the rim. They have the 2 hour Canyon Vista Tour as well. Now, for both of these and all of the other things we've discussed here today, we're going to have the resources down below in the description. But Xanterra, the South Rim, this is the most popular mule ride.
Fantastic. Right, let's go for our last and final question. So that is, I'm interested in short walks on the North Rim. Can you give me a steer, buddy?
I can. And if, short walks probably are folks who are a little bit more up there in age and a little bit more limited in their accessibility. Let's go talk about what the options are, because there's a couple of good ones.
Okie doke.
Now, I'm going to start out with the bad news first.
Get it out of the way.
Unfortunately, here in 2024, what I consider the best trail in the canyon is currently closed, and that's the Bright Angel Point Trail. They are in the process of rebuilding it. It takes you out to this fantastic viewpoint. I won't build it up any more than that, but for 2024, it's closed. They're doing construction. They're making sure that it's going to be a great experience for future visitors. However, if you do need to come this year, and we hope you do, by the way, there is this trail right along here, the Bridle Trail. And it's also looking down into Roaring Springs Canyon, just like you see from the mule rides that we talked about earlier. This is looking at it from another perspective. So if you're older and you are concerned about accessibility, the Bridle Trail right here by the Grand Canyon Lodge, which is where we're at, is one of the great trails that you can walk along the rim and have an enjoyable experience, even if you've gotten up to a little bit of age or you've got issues with your body and knees.
So it doesn't matter what age you are. There's going to be something for everybody at the Grand Canyon. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So what are we looking at here?
Well, we've got one more option that is great. If you take the road out to Cape Royal, you will see the Cape Royal Trail over here. And I want to come in just a little closer to it. Right here's the parking area, and you can walk along the Cape Royal Trail out here. Again, it's a fantastic view from the north side of the Grand Canyon. One of the little hidden secrets, or one of the great things, is you walk past Angel's Window. Now, going to be direct with you. The Instagram picture is probably best taken from the parking lot. So, but this is one of those trails, not as accessible as the trails by the lodge. This one has some gravel involved, so you're going to need that person to push and help you if you're in a wheelchair. But and take your time. The great thing about the North Rim is it's a little bit cooler than the South Rim, and you can take your time. But take your time as you're going out to the view from Cape Royal. You'll be looking at Wotan's Throne, and so it's a beautiful view out there.
So I'm also noticing just up here, is that Cliff Spring Trail? What's Cliff Spring Trail?
Well, Cliff Spring Trail takes you down, and it takes you actually into a little side canyon. You're not looking at Grand Canyon, but it takes you into the forest. So it's not as well developed. You need to make sure your footing is fairly sure. If you've got concerns about footing, then I wouldn't recommend this, but it is a nice walk into the Ponderosa Pine Forest here on the North Rim.
Okay, so Colin, that's our first Canyon Weekly Live, and I got a load of value out of that. But the thing is, we might have gone maybe a little bit too fast for everybody, and they're trying to jot down all of those sort of details as we were going along. I heard that you've got it all sorted for them, as in terms of a gift that conveniently they can then download. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. We want you to come here to GrandCanyon.com. This is exactly what it'll look like. And right here is where you can click and download and get the ultimate Grand Canyon adventure guide. You can also click up there where Stephen is pointing. You can click both of these, get your ultimate Grand Canyon adventure guide, and that will help you plan your vacation. And so let's talk just a little bit more about this guide, Stephen.
Okay, so I'm going to let you take us out of the actual live and to close the show. Take it away, Carlin.
All right. Well, here's the Ultimate Grand Canyon Adventure Guide. It's going to get you to your adventure of a lifetime. We talked about those Thanksgiving discussions. This is why you want to download this guide. It gives you the quick direction. It also has everything you need as you take a look at coming to the Grand Canyon. Maybe too much. However, we hope that I've simplified it at the beginning. We've given you the 5 steps. Then I give you everything. And that's our hope here in the lives. We want to share things that you need to know when you come to the Grand Canyon. And we just want you to know that if you will download the Ultimate Grand Canyon Adventure Guide, and we'd love it if you'd favor us with the booking as you plan your Grand Canyon adventure. We hope you've gotten value today. And most importantly, we want to see you at the Grand Canyon.
Now, Colin, I would normally at that point basically roll us out. But with the power of the interweb, I have noticed that there is actually a viewer watching live all the way from, I think it's Wyoming. Now, my geography is just rubbish, but I just wanted to say, hey, Ali, thanks very much for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the show here. Give us a thumbs up or give us a comment if you can and it's convenient. But I hope you're enjoying the way that we're sort of bringing this information to life for you. What we tend to find is that it can be a little bit overwhelming and there's lots of things to go and see. And Carlin and I, the main sort of idea is to actually bring it to life, bring this guide to life visually and making it a lot more interactive. So, hey, thanks very much, Ali, for tuning in.
I need to do a shout out. Allie's actually a personal friend, and obviously this popped up and she saw it and has jumped on and joined us today. Thank you for joining us, Allie. This is exactly what I've been working on. So thank you. She used to be an employee here with me at GrandCanyon.com.
Well, hey, Ali, I'm just going to say thanks very much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. So at this point, we are going to outro out and say we look forward to seeing you guys next on our Canyon Weekly Live.
Yep, we'll see you there. Come see us at the Grand Canyon.
See you later. Bye-bye.